are here at the Newman Creek Winery / Quilt Shop. We're here with Keely, and I'm so excited for you to meet her and wait till you see what she's got in her shop here. This is a new one for me, and I'm loving this. So give us a little hint of how you got started, what inspired you, what got you going?
With the winery part of it, that's my husband's thing. I started quilting about 4 years ago. I went down to buy a sewing machine to make go-kart seat upholstery because I've been racing go-karts since I was 10. Some of the vintage guys that are restoring go-karts wanted upholstery for their vintage go-karts, and I knew I could do that, so I went down to Wendy's shop in Bolivar and bought a sewing machine with the intention of making go-kart upholstery, and Wendy got me talked into starting quilting. And I kind of got hooked on the K facet fabrics and was having a hard time finding them. So earlier this year, I decided to just become a retailer for K facet and put some of the fabrics in my shop. My husband gave me this little corner of the retail shop here to put my fabrics in, and I guess we just went from there. We
Now you do like sip and sews, I understand?
Yeah. The second Thursday of the month from 5 to 8 p.m. we take over the tasting room, and you can bring your sewing machine. A lot of the women just bring hand sewing projects in. And it's great networking because some of them have been quilting and sewing for years. Mm-hmm. I've sewn since I was younger, but mostly made like outfits for my kids. That
you sound like me. That's how I started too.
Made my son a pair of velvet knickers when he was 3, which I still have, and I'm going to make my grandson wear them. Oh. But I mostly did clothing and stuff, and I always thought quilting was for old ladies. My grandma quilted. And I always just thought, the older women at the church that sat there and got in groups together and quilted. And
I do that. I'm the youngest one, though.
And little did you know that it's great therapy, isn't it? I mean, not only are you creating things, but it's great therapy for the mind and fellowship that you share with people. I love it. I think that's great.
I think a lot more now, so that they don't teach sewing in school. Mm-mm. So I've had a good response locally to when I post on our Facebook page that we're having a sip and sew. The younger moms in the area, they would love to make a baby quilt, but they have no clue where to get started. And when they see this fabric, they're like, well, that doesn't look like my grandma's quilt. So they kind of get excited about it. And
well, I think it's really interesting that you got started. What got you down this path was doing upholstery for go-karts. I've never heard of anybody starting quilting going down that path. So your sip and sews, though, because the COVID is going on, that doesn't. She's got it all set up so that there's plenty of room, plenty of space. So if you're worried about that, don't be, because that's taken care of.
We have a whole other half of the building here that has our tasting room in it, and we've got the tables all spaced apart. So
now your husband makes the wines, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he's been doing that for how many years?
I would say probably at least 15. Well, maybe 12. We've been open for 8 years, so he probably started about 4 years before that. So
I found 2 wines that I like, so I'm walking out of here with 2 bottles myself. Steffi, you got 1, right? Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. Well, is there anything, besides the sip and sew, do you have like a website that people can go to? Are you on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook. It's under the Winey Quilter. It's Winey. And on that Facebook page, there's a link to my retail site that you can go on and actually purchase the fabric. You can, if you're local, you can go on and place an order and pay for it and just come down and pick it up, or you can come in and shop, or I do ship.
Well, I love this place. I think we're going to come back and do maybe a meet and greet later on, huh? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is a great place if you're just looking for some super fantastic wine. It's delicious. We've tasted, so we know. And then the fabrics are beautiful. I love these fabrics. They're so pretty, real jewel tone. I mean, it's not something you see in every quilt shop. I mean, it's really, really pretty. And they make beautiful quilts. All right. Well, thank you, Keely, for having us here. I'm so excited. We will definitely be back, and appreciate you having us come in.
Thanks. It was nice to meet you guys.
Boy.
They look like little shots lined up.
Well, I told her that I had to have little shots because I'm a cheap date, and I have to drive to Mineral City. So she said I could do the shots.